search.
We have live team coverage. Steve Douglas talked with the little girl's principal. Jim Piggott has been talking with investigators about a report of an attempted abduction in the same area 10 days ago. And Laura Mazzio has the latest on the expanded search for Summer Thompson. We begin our team coverage with Jennifer Waugh, who's joining us now live from the command center. Jen?
Tom and Mary, I'll tell you what a difference just the last 24 hours has made. If you'll remember, we were standing just about a quarter of a mile from where we are now in front of the command post that was set up at the junior high school, in fact, last night. And what a tremendous difference. In fact, if you can just look over my shoulder here, you can see that the number of units has just absolutely intensified in terms of numbers. You know, it was 100 last night. That has increased. You have got upward to 14 agencies that are now have gotten involved in this search for this 7-year-old little girl. Now, it has been painstaking not just for police. It has warmed up here. It's certainly much warmer than last night, but painstaking, no doubt, for this little girl's mother. From what we've learned about 7-year-old Summer, she is very trusting. In fact, we're told she doesn't even really enjoy hanging out outside or playing outside. She likes to be inside with her mom and her mom's boyfriend and her siblings. We did have an opportunity, of course, deputies have really surrounded her mom, Dina, for the last 24 hours, really trying to pick her brain as much as possible, trying to find out friends of Summer's, places where she likes to go, thinking perhaps she might be there. Now, she has been really, in essence, holed up, but did briefly walk outside today. Dina, in fact, we have video of her, and I'll tell you, you can't imagine what this mother must be going through. Here she is, she calls home yesterday to find out, in essence, how the kids are, to find out that her 7-year-old simply did not come home from school. She said she is just too upset to talk right now, and of course, no doubt, wants the focus to be on searching and finding her 7-year-old. Now, I'll tell you one thing that will just warm your heart. It certainly did mine. When I was leaving here last night at around 11:30 or 12, I was amazed at how many people in the dark of night were out last night with their flashlights looking for this little girl. That continued and quadrupled, frankly, into today and this morning. Volunteers coming out here, lining up, telling the sheriff, hey, whatever you need, let us know. We want to be there. We all have children. We understand the pain that this family must be going through. Tell us what you need us to do. At this point, though, having just heard from the sergeant involved in this investigation, they're asking that volunteers hold tight, keep passing out the flyers, but if you will, please hold tight. They are going to regroup, so to speak. Police are this evening, and investigators, and find out really ways that they can better use the volunteers starting tomorrow, so we'll have much more information on that. In the meantime, as you might imagine, a massive search underway. You saw all of the vans and investigative units behind me. They have just fanned a 5-mile radius. It's been increased. Initially, it was 2 to 3 miles. It's now a 5-mile radius. You have horses, you have canine units from Cross City, in fact, a number of dogs out, hoping that they can give just a piece of something that belongs to Summer, to these dogs who can maybe pick up some kind of scent. This is just a 5-mile radius. It's not an incredible amount of space to search when you're trying to pick up this little girl's scent. And again, she has not been seen since 2:45 yesterday. If you look at the pictures of this little girl, she is a sweet, trusting little girl, as I mentioned, and certainly what's more difficult, as the sergeant who spoke to us just a few minutes ago, he himself is a father, and for him to, in essence, announce that this has changed significantly, and he does, in fact, the investigation has turned to the point where they do actually suspect foul play in this case.
At this time right now, she is an endangered missing child, obviously due to her age, due to the climate conditions last night. For a small child like that, it'd be very, very tough for her to be out there. So she is definitely endangered, and we do suspect foul play.
Because what other reason can you come up with, at least that's what the investigators are saying here, as to why a little girl who walked away from her siblings would not come home? She must be hungry, certainly cold last night, and every child wants to go to sleep in their own bed without a doubt. Now, the massive search, as I mentioned, my colleague Laura Mazzio has been out here all day talking with police, talking with investigators. We have seen this before, particularly with Haley Cummings, and these guys know what they're doing.
Absolutely, Jen. And, I want to let everyone know now the numbers of law enforcement
officers in this case is now into the hundreds, in the sense that they have everyone from JSO, FDLE, even the FBI here. I did speak with Little Summer's grandmother, and she says they are certainly very thankful that they're getting all this help, but they really just want to see their little girl. Police dogs searched the area around Little Summer Thompson's home. Deputies went door to door, then lined up to scour nearby woods as a helicopter searched from above. It's now been more than 24 hours since the second grader was last seen after school. Summer's mom, Dina Thompson, told us she is thankful for everyone's prayers, and she asked for more. She says she just wants to see her little girl again.
As each hour goes by, she gets less and less hopeful. She keeps saying that she wishes she could wake up and it would all just have been a terrible dream.
At Summer's home, dozens of investigators have come and gone. Sheriff Rick Beasler came to tell the little girl's family they're doing everything they can.
I talked with the mother, assured her that the sheriff's office was doing everything possible right now. I told her about the volunteer efforts that are underway. She was gratified that hundreds of people have come out to help.
But now with that extensive search and the nationwide Amber Alert continuing, Summer's family is tormented. They have no idea where their little girl is.
It's just been a roller coaster. We keep holding and hoping that we hear something and somebody will let us know. They're not telling us much.
Until now, Summer's grandma has only heard the stories of missing children on the news. And this, her worst dream, has come true.
You know, you think about this and you think, this can't be happening to me. This can't be happening to my family. But it is. It's very hard. That's all I can say.
You know, I want to let you guys know what the family said they were most appreciative for today was all those prayers. They say Jen, they are really feeling that from the community. They say it really means the world to them right now.
Oh, you feel that grandmother's pain. You can only imagine not knowing. Let's talk a little bit about her father. Is he involved in her life, do you know?
Yeah, Samuel Thompson, he is in North Carolina. He got the call from investigators. You can only imagine
that call.
What that must have been like as a father. But he says he is overwhelmed by the support from the community. He's been following this whole situation, of course, and he's just overwhelmed by the fact that right now that all these people have come out, bringing food, stopping by, can I grab some flyers, doing everything that they can to help this little girl.
So he's here now. He came down.
From what we understand, he is still there, and he's been told to stay there, but he may be coming
just in case.
soon.
You never know if she heads that way for some unknown reason. All right, Laura Mazzio, thank you. We want to back up, too, and give some perspective here. You know, this is a small community. It's a very tight-knit community as well. I want to show you a map just to give you some perspective here. Now, let's remember that Summer was last seen in essence, well, she left her elementary school, Grove Park Elementary School, which is on Miller Street at 2:45-ish yesterday. She walked about a half of a mile to the corner of Gano and DeBerry. There she met up, we're told, with her twin brother as well as her older sister, who's about 10 years old. That's where they had some kind of falling out, a squabble, as the sheriff explained, and she parted ways with them. Now, her home is just 4 blocks from that location. It's all very close. Now, what's very interesting certainly is, and the sheriff talked about it a little bit this morning, this attempted abduction that happened about 10 days ago. My colleague Jim Piggott is joining me now to kind of bring us up to speed on this. We certainly hadn't heard about that, Jim, yesterday, and it certainly is suspect only because it's in the same neighborhood.
Exactly, and that's the concern from the sheriff's department as well, because they didn't hear anything about this really until today, and we started talking about that. That is a concern, an attempted abduction case 10 days ago in this very neighborhood. Of course, we talked to the mother of the little girl involved there and also somebody who rescued that little girl. Obviously coincidental that it happened in the same area, but at this time, the sheriff is saying they aren't related. Take a listen to what happened.
I mean, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. I feel so bad, and I just want us to find her.
But April Bruthworth knows what it was like. 10 days ago, her 5-year-old daughter was involved in a near abduction right in the same area. It was a Saturday. Her daughter was on a bike.
My daughter was where she was not supposed to be, blocks away from the home. This car stopped her, lured her to the car, wanted her to get in the car, and my daughter said no, started crying, fell off her bike.
Police got a description of the car. It's one that's similar to this, a blue Nissan Sentra. There was a woman driving, and there might have been 2 male passengers. But this woman, Shannon Pollitt, was right there when it all occurred and ran to help. She saw the car stop and the little girl crying.
My first question to the little girl was, do you know these people? She said no. My second question was, what did they say to you? And she said they said to get in the car. It was at that point that I realized that something wasn't right, and when I turned around to look for the car, it was gone.
And that was it. There was no search and no arrest, and didn't come up again until Summer Thompson went missing.
It dawned on me that maybe I should ask them if they thought that it had anything to do, or if there was a report made from what happened last weekend.
Well, the Orange Park Police Department responded. They looked into the matter, and for whatever reason, I don't know, this is the first information that we've got on this, and once this incident occurred, it was filtered to us, and we've immediately began following up on it.
I went to the Orange Park Police Station today to try to get some answers about that. The chief there didn't want to talk. He said that they did disseminate that information. Again, this was 10 days ago, and an attempted abduction case at this time. They got the word out there. They said maybe he should have put out a bulletin in hindsight on that, but he does believe that they followed procedure. Now, coming up all new at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear that 911 tape from that attempted abduction when the mother called it in, and of course the woman that came along to help. They had a lot to say. So Jen, a lot of people asking, should this word have been put out there to make parents aware that something had happened before and maybe something could have happened again? They're not tying these two together.
Okay, so they're not related. But what about this car? I mean, did anybody in the area when Summer disappeared notice this car?
We haven't heard anything to that aspect. We're not even sure, if this car is related. We said the blue Sentra, they're thinking that's what it might be, but nobody noticed anything like that.
Okay, all right, Jim Piggott, thank you very much. And again, this just goes to the fact that this is about leaving no rock unturned, really. I mean, they are out here just en masse, tracking down every lead possible. Tom and Mary?
Jen, we'll stay with you, too. As you can imagine, this has not been an easy day for students and teachers at summer school.
She's in the 2nd grade at Grove Park Elementary. Channel 4's Steve Douglas talked with her principal today about how the school is handling the little girl's disappearance.
Grove Park Elementary is right at the center of this close-knit community, a little section of town brought together by the disappearance of one of their own.
I make it known that there is a little girl missing and we want to bring her home.
A community united in the search for Summer.
It feels like the right thing to do, to get out and help in any way that we can.
With volunteers pouring in from as far as Middleburg and Jacksonville, passing out flyers, trying to do everything they can. Volunteers have been asked to put these flyers all over town, anywhere that can put little Summer's face on people's minds.
As a parent and a grandparent, it touches your heart deeply, and you just feel so helpless to sit at home and do nothing.
At the heart of that effort, a neighborhood on edge that aches more with every minute that passes without word of what happened to little smiling Summer.
Our concern right now is, of course, the safety of the students, and certainly doing anything we can to help the authorities with any information that could possibly be provided to find Summer.
As you put yourself in the place of the parents and how devastated they must be, and the fact that we would all do just about anything for our children.
Principal Braxton says grief counselors are not available at the school this time because they haven't given up hope little Summer will be found. Reporting in Orange Park, Steve Douglas, Channel 4, the local station.
And many of you are expressing your own concerns about this child's disappearance.
That's right. We've received quite a few calls and emails from you, our viewers, and here are just a couple of examples for you. One viewer wrote, "My prayers and thoughts are going out to this family and for the safety of this precious little girl. I cannot imagine what the parents of this child must be going through right now." Another viewer says, "My heart goes out to the mother. This is just another reminder how fast life can change and how powerful the words 'I love you' are with every parting." If you'd like to send your well wishes to the family, just go to news4jax.com. You can post your comments under the story.
Let's go back now to Jen Waugh at the command post. Jen, one of the questions that we're hearing from viewers is why was the Amber Alert not issued until this morning? Why didn't they issue it last night?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and one, in fact, that we asked this morning, Tom and Mary, of the sheriff. And he said, they really felt last night that they had it covered. They went ahead, though, and issued it this morning because, there's a number of criteria that must be met. One of those is believing that she's in danger, which they certainly did. The other is having a vehicle description, because if you think about it, the significance of the Amber Alert is putting up those signs, particularly along the interstates, giving people, motorists, an idea of what to look for in terms of a vehicle that might be carrying Summer. They didn't have that last night, and just in the prudence of just of abundance of caution, they went ahead and issued it today because they certainly know now this is not an issue in which she has, in essence, run away. At least it appears that this is foul play, and that's why they went ahead and issued it, albeit several hours later. Tom and Mary, we'll have much more, of course. We're expecting either the sheriff or the sergeant to come and address the media at 6 o'clock, and we'll bring that to you certainly live.
All right, we'll check back in with you.